how things got to the point that they're at now. So, I've done videos in the past explaining different situations concerning both the US and Iran. So, for specifics on those cases, you'll have to reference the videos where I actually went much more in depth on those specific topics. But usually, these two nations show up on opposite sides of conflicts. And something that's still a sore spot for Iran is the US pulling out of the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, otherwise known as the Iran deal. And last weekend, the Iranian president, Rouhani, delivered a speech in which he warned the US not to pull the tiger's tail. And he said that a war with the US would be a mother of all wars, to which Trump responded that Iran would face serious consequences, the likes of which few throughout history have ever suffered before. And the reason it would be the mother of all wars is because it would likely involve Russia, Saudi Arabia, Israel, Great Britain, France, Germany, Australia, possibly even Canada, Italy, Turkey, Syria. And because of this, it's worth mentioning that Saudi Arabia is halting oil shipments through the Red Sea for the time being, claiming that there was an Iran backed Yemeni Houthi rebel attack on two oil tankers. And Saudi Arabia, who's a questionable ally of the US, and Iran have been in a proxy war for the past 3 years. And seeing as the US is an ally of Saudi Arabia and Russia's an ally of Iran, you can see how this could escalate to a huge conflict. Now, yesterday, an Australian news outlet posted that senior figures in the Turnbull government have told the ABC they believe the United States is prepared to bomb Iran's nuclear facilities, perhaps as early as next month, and that Australia is poised to help identify possible targets. Now, if you recall, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, the UK, and the US are part of Five Eyes, which is essentially an intelligence alliance where these five entities signed a treaty for joint cooperation in signals intelligence. So it makes sense that Australia would help the US identify targets. It's also worth noting that Turnbull has said that there's no reason to believe such an act will take place. Turnbull says that he saw the ABC story but dismissed it as speculation. And to be fair, the original story is clear that it's speculation. That's why they say that they believe the US will bomb Iran's nuclear facilities. They have some reason to believe it, and they're just highlighting one route that could be taken that's been given some credence. But the line that's been causing the most concern is the real threat from Iran, when the head of Iran's Revolutionary Guards Corps said the Red Sea, which was secure, is no longer secure with the American presence. Trump should know that we are a nation of martyrdom and that we await him. So this threat not only ties into the Houthi rebels attacking the Saudi oil ships in the Red Sea, but it also implies that suicide bombers, terrorists, basically soldiers of the dogmatic theocracy, aren't afraid to wage war on the US. The head of Iran's Revolutionary Guards Corps is actually saying that Iran is a nation of people who are essentially lemmings, and he can sick them on the US if Trump keeps pushing Iran's buttons. And for the record, pushing the buttons of Iran is pretty easy. Just tell them that they're in an area surrounded by terrorist groups and they're allies with dangerous countries, and you don't want to partake in the financial and consequential burdens that come with letting Iran have nuclear capabilities. I mean, we can lay any leveraging power that Iran really has at the feet of an Iran deal doomed to fail and the carelessness of the UN inspectors that allowed Iran to continue to develop nuclear capabilities and ballistic missile capabilities because they didn't check military sites that Iran wouldn't allow them to check. Letting Iran cherry pick the places that the UN could look is an absolute failure of policy, and it should never be forgotten who and what got us in the situation that we're in now, because the fact that Iran even has nuclear capabilities to bomb is a problem that should have been avoided altogether. Of course, in all of this, I question the degree to which Saudi Arabia is actually an ally of the US and how loyal they'd be. And to determine how legitimate an attack on Iranian nuclear capabilities would be, we'd have to see how the attack is carried out, where it's carried out, and the degree, really, to which it's carried out. I also don't think that from what's public knowledge right now, there's enough to justify a physical attack on Iran. But I think that a more realistic approach to this is that Trump is preparing for a strike on Iran's nuclear capabilities in the event that something more substantial happens in the near future. So this is a story to watch closely for sure, and we'll have to see what else comes of it. So that's all for this video. I hope that you found it helpful because I couldn't find any single news story that really brought all of these points together and articulated them